Inflation is a scourge for all economies. Pakistan has been badly hit with inflation in the past 3 years, and each day we get headlines on inflation affecting fuel, food, and consumer durable prices. Central banks have a mandate to keep inflation manageable, which they usually do through monetary policies. But how effective has monetary policy been in controlling inflation? Mapping the relationship between inflationary and monetary policy, we observed a low rate and high inflation even during the pandemic. Inflation starts trending upward during the global supply chain crisis as the weaknesses in the structure of the Pakistani economy come to the fore. Things, however, spiral a bit when Russia invades Ukraine, which puts pressure on oil, food prices, and weakens the currency reserves. The ensuing political crisis through the VNC sent prices into orbit as Pakistan plunged into a balance of payment, constitutional, and import crisis. The monetary policy was kept low during the pandemic to boost the economy, which was slowing down. However, the rate increases have been slow. So while the rate increases are high, inflation still seems to be very high. But Pakistan is not unique in this case. Many developing nations have had their weaknesses in structural economic structures exposed during this the supply chain crisis. So how weak has Pakistan been? Well, for that we compare Pakistan to a peer group of countries that have been developed based on four metrics: area, population, GDP, and country score. First up, we have Turkey, a much larger economy with a fraction of the population. Philippines, a sizable economy with less than half the population of Pakistan. Argentina, the mercurial economy, almost double the output of Pakistan with a significantly smaller population. And Nigeria, a smaller population than Pakistan, but 100 million more in output. Turkey has been the poster child for global price battle in the past few years. For Turkey, inflation starts higher during the period that we look at. The inflation skyrockets as central bank governors were fired, ushering in the era of Erdoganomics. This did not help curtail inflation as the lira crashed and inflation skyrocketed. Only recently has the MPC raised rates, but inflation still remains very high because the action from the MPC committee has been very delayed. Similar to Turkey, Argentina has very high inflation from the time period start. This, as a trend, has only continued to increase as the rates were kept flat. Now we have a situation where the MPC committee started raising rates, but inflation has still continued to creep up, crossing over 100%, while at the same time, the monetary policy rate is over 100%. Nigeria. Inflation eased during the COVID period as restrictions were added to the market, but the supply chain crisis definitely decimated the inflation in the country. The MPC committee, though, compared to the previous two countries, has been very active in Nigeria, but unfortunately, the action of the MPC committee has done little to curtail inflation, which has been trending higher over the past few months. And last, we have Philippines. Looking at Philippines is a unique case because they had managed inflation at the start of the period. This happened while the MPC rates were kept low, signaling a slowdown in the economy during the uh, COVID economy. But as the supply chain crisis took place, inflation in the economy grew pretty sharply. The MPC committee, though, has been very responsive and raised rates almost in lockstep, which has managed to bring the rate of inflation down. Between the four peers, we see that Philippines has been the only one which has managed to have control on their inflation, while the other four countries, including Pakistan, have not been able to manage or use monetary policy rates effectively to curtail inflation. To learn more about how and why this has occurred and why Pakistan has not been successful akin to Philippines, visit Mesocal.com.